Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just culminating. No, we'll look at everywhere like that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So young.
That's how like percent.
Okay. This is where you're working at it?
No, I'm setting up the class.
So you know, you can always use my office.
I know, I'm set up in your office.
Oh,
Testing, testing, can you hear me? Oh, wait, I think I can hear. Okay. I think that's correct, but let me know if you can't hear me at any point.
yeah.
I'll
Oh,
attest.
she's always late, but it's not, we did the.
Got class in a few minutes. I don't know if anyone will come with a potluck going on. Yeah, but it's DocuSign 101, so. I like your mother did. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were sitting there talking. I was like, all this time I've known you, I had no clue.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And like, she kind of has a southern accent. Like, she has more southern accent than
Yeah.
kids do.
Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Yeah, I mean, kind of give her a hard time for it, but yeah, she's from Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Until she started saying certain words, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. We've only gotten to go there one time, but that was like the coolest thing. Yeah.
Well, that's every couple of years, you guys.
Right?
So how they do.
No. Well, like people I've not met, like her age. They're still there. Definitely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. See you. Have a great holiday. Thanks.
We're just the same.
Wow, what's going?
DocuSign 101 class. If anybody is in eating food, it's like I really want to learn DocuSign and stuff.
Wow.
Send them my way. It takes a minute.
It was nice meeting you.
That would, I always get confused.
I'll be back.
Okay, great. Well, we're in here today. Oh, great. Elena, just let me know if you can't hear me or see my screen. We're gonna start in just 1 minute here. And thanks for joining us online.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I'm so excited. Oh my god. You took picture. Oh, I got mom to take a picture of me.
I can't handle it.
I was so excited.
So good.
It's so big too. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Okay, can you send me that for, yeah, thanks. Thank you, absolutely, and someone just popped in and was like. Okay. Can I ask one more favor? Yeah, please. Can you tell me something? You want any stats from the phone? No, it's okay. Desserts? I'll just see if it's still in that. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, Lena. We're just gonna wait a couple more minutes here to make sure everyone can get on. Just let me know if you can't hear me. We'll be starting shortly here.
Okay, if it's just me for the class, you think we can do it like next week?
Yes, absolutely. I have it recorded actually on the main page of KWB resources.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to KWB resources on a computer specifically,
Good.
it's right here. If you scroll on down, there is the ultimate DocuSign overview. It would be the one on the bottom where I'm wearing black here. It just goes over essentially everything that I would say today. How to access your forms, send for electronic signatures, etc.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and if you would like to, I don't know if you have already, but you can book one-on-one tech appointments with us as well. By clicking I need tech help on the top right. So if you ever need us, you can one-on-one with us as well.
Is that one for a fee?
No, it's free for you to meet with us. It's free with your membership with Keller Williams Valentine. So you're able to meet once a week with us for 30 minutes a week, paid for by the Market Center.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, well, I'll just watch the video and then if I have any questions, I'll message you guys.
Okay, that sounds great. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great Thanksgiving.
You too, you too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
You finally made it because. Because something.
Oh, I know it. I feel that. Well, actually, it's gonna be, I think, a one-on-one. Someone was just on, but then she said, that she needed to pop off and was just gonna watch the recording. So we'll just go over, we can go over everything DocuSign, you know, from A to Z, or if there's certain parts of DocuSign that you would like to see.
Well, I haven't even, definitely have time to do the video, so whatever you do in your class.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'll show you an overview of A to Z, how to start transactions in Command with
Okay.
DocuSign. Here. Alright, so first of all, just so you know where the notes are for today's class, so if you need to come back and watch this video later, right? Cause I mean, how I learned is really just pausing the video to watch along. So this is on the main page of KWB resources. I believe you do have to look at it on a computer to see it on the home page here, but it's just the get paid with KW
Yes.
command. That right here will take you through essentially what I'm going to say. So if when you have your first transaction, or have you had transactions? No, right? It would be your first. Okay. You can just pause this and follow along. And of course, we're free to meet, right? You can meet with us one-on-one, paid for by the Market Center, 30 minutes a week. So just so you know, that's where that is. I need tech help on the top right. So lastly, where the notes are for today's class, if you want any other notes, so under tech resources
Okay,
is the live tech training.
okay. you have some, did you eat?
Not yet. I think I'll go see if there's leftovers later. I'm not too hungry quite yet.
You don't wanna eat
Got it.
anything again, Thursday?
I know, right? It's just a marathon of eating this week, right? Like any stretch you
It's like
can.
a practice.
Yeah, we're warming up, exactly. So
That
this is,
was in tech,
yeah, so under tech resources and then the live tech training.
oh, okay.
This is where all the notes are for today, for all the classes that we teach.
Oh, okay.
So if you scroll down from here, it'll show you like the DocuSign one specifically would be helpful. And that's gonna give you essentially just a table with all of the DocuSign related videos. So these are all 10-minute versions of the video. So for example, if you need, oh,
You got my boots. My bag.
good time.
My food bag.
How are you doing? Nice, what did you bring in?
I bring dessert,
Oh, cool.
Egyptian baklava,
Ooh, I love
and
baklava.
macaroni, but not macaroni cheese.
Uh-huh.
It's macaroni with little bit layer of bechamel inside. And
Now
that-
macaroni and cheese was good.
that middle one, yeah, and some sort of ground beef inside.
I'm seeing, hey, how are you?
Yeah. This thing, you want to, the baklava need to be gone. I will grab you one.
Okay, I do love baklava. Is it usually Egyptian or is it usually?
Greek,
Greek?
but it depends on
I
the,
love the
recipe.
they have? Yeah.
I think this
Oh,
it's totally different
no,
between the
she
Greek
had a
and
Egyptian
Lebanese,
baklava.
Syrian.
Oh, interesting. I'm excited to try the difference. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't wanna ask.
You want a spoon of
Oh, the pasta was
dried
good.
macaroni?
No, I forgot myself. I'll be right back.
But you can go.
Go ahead, you're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, that was good.
I left my stuff in my car.
Oh, you stuff in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, never.
How you doing today?
You can see.
Oh, good. Fun potluck?
It
Fun.
It was fun.
is.
Good, good.
I'm really just kind of getting here. I didn't forget about it, but something has, I'm here for this, main reason. So-
That was an added bonus then, right? Did you guys have Ignite this morning?
No,
No,
not
not
this
this week.
week. Oh, that's good. I bet a lot of people are
That was great because it's like, it's too much.
It's chaos.
I would say like it's a lot of information and it's coming fast.
It really is. So true.
What I had today was honeydew and not honeydew, yeah.
Because you guys have been here for days, right? As far as a part of the market center, have you guys been here a month yet?
Yeah. I suppose.
Okay, month,
Just about.
month anniversary, congratulations.
Yep.
How about you, how long have you been?
I started in May.
Well, I started-
Okay, that's right, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
No,
it's not, just about.
Yeah, it's still November,
Just
yeah.
about, yeah, just about
To really get in.
approaching.
Jump in 2025.
Because I know, the first day I came,
It's a lot.
That's
he was in this room too. And I met Darren, that was on the day before election.
I mean, it's starting off
Yeah,
with business,
so-
you know, from the ground
So
up,
it's
so
November
it's-
It takes
what?
years.
It took Uber 15 years to be profitable, so not, sorry, not that it'll take
I
this.
have like, in my country, my parents, they grow coffee and it takes
Wow,
3 years, in order to
I love
start having just a little bit of
Right.
return.
that's so true,
And then
right,
the 4 years when you get a good return.
so true, I love that.
I'm used to like.
The investment of it, yes. Alright guys, so where the DocuSign notes are, just to start off, what you guys need to know, so on kwbresources.com on the homepage, thank you so much, I will eat this after class.
Yeah.
So. Don't put it to the side here, thank you so much. So kwbresources.com, right, on the homepage specifically when you're on a computer, that's where you'll see this video. Essentially what I'm gonna go over with a 20-minute overview of this will be right on the homepage. And what to do when you go under contract as well. So those are the two videos. Again, you can see it on a computer view of KWB resources. And then where you can see all of today's notes for today's class. So again, KWB resources under tech resources. And the live tech training. So that third option down, that's all the notes for all the classes that we teach tech wise. So live tech training on here, if you scroll down, you'll see an option for DocuSign. So I'll scroll down past this month's calendar and come on down to DocuSign. And so this is gonna be 10-minute versions of essentially everything I go over today. So again, this is that overview of everything that you'll see. You can pause it to follow along. That's how I learned it. So when you have your first transaction, you know, watching the video, pausing it, doing it with me is really helpful. Outside of that, you'll see what I'm going to tell you today broken down into 10-minute videos. Going down the list here, and I'll reference this. If you prefer written notes, that's where I do have these steps written out as well. 10 steps on how to start a transaction in DocuSign with Command. So I'll open that up and I'll just reference it. If you prefer written steps, there are about 10 steps, and it is a specific workflow for how to start a transaction in Command with DocuSign. Just gonna put this out here.
You're not wrong with that.
Alright, thanks for your patience. Alright, so these are those steps 1 through 10, yes.
Open this one?
Yep, so that's KWB resources, and then you can hover over tech resources on the top black toolbar.
Yeah.
So, right down there.
Which one to the?
And then live tech training, that third option down.
Okay, so. You know, I'm gonna have to go to my laptop. My tablet pulled this up, which
I
is.
try, you're probably not on KWB resources.
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
would guess. So on live tech training, right, then you can scroll down past the calendar graphic and you'll see DocuSign from that list. About halfway down the page.
Gotcha.
And so this will be, again, all the 10-minute versions of everything that I'm saying. Explaining in today's class will be broken down based on topic specific for DocuSign. And I'll reference this as well. And you'll see the written notes at the top. Yep, oh, live tech training, yep.
So this is.
Yep, and then DocuSign right there, yeah. I'm gonna go back and advertise, I'm sorry guys. That'll be easier for you.
My tech training.
Yeah, go up slightly. Yeah, yep. Yep, live tech training. Yeah, perfect, and then DocuSign about halfway down the list, go up a little more. Right there. Yep, now scroll about halfway down the page and you're gonna look for DocuSign right there. Yep, about middle page, awesome. You get, are you getting? Yeah, on that list. Let me see. Okay, yeah, click on a live tech training.
I did.
Okay, great. I'm not sure if it's like, there we go.
Okay,
Now scroll about halfway down the page
got you.
and you'll see DocuSign on that list right there.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Of course. Yeah, and you can always star this, so you can save this on in your bookmarks, because this is a live Google Doc. So anytime there's a change in DocuSign or the KW Tech, I will always update it directly on here. So it'll always be the most recent, most pertinent DocuSign trainings. So you can star this and bookmark it, or however you save links. Alright, so I'm gonna go through the process on, again, how to start transactions in DocuSign with Command, okay? It is a very specific workflow that it wants you to use in order to use the two platforms together. So where we're gonna go is Command, so that is agent.kw.com. Keyboard's a little sticky, so bear with me. Question.
Absolutely. Which
You are
one
totally fine.
which
Yeah.
one did we go to?
So now we're going to Command. So we're going to
We're going back to Command.
agent.kw.com. Yeah, I'm gonna take you through the.
So we're minimizing this and going to command?
Yeah, you can pull it up in a new tab.
Okay, got you.
And again, that's agent.kw.com. So that's where you'll go daily, really, command, that's going to be the agent login for kw.com essentially. For security, it's, gonna ask you for codes probably once a month or so, they're thinking, or they're implementing. So just so you know, it'll send to your personal email address, if that's the case, the code. Or anytime that you log in with a new device or anything, it will also do that, or a new browser for that matter.
Unless you trust the browser.
Yes,
If you trust it.
yeah, if you trust it, then it won't keep
It will
pulling
ask
it up
application.
ideally.
Usually the phone is the one that doesn't like the phone. I'm like, when I try
Oh, the
to put it
command
on-
app,
Yeah, try to do it on the phone, and for some reason it's keep asking.
really,
But, yeah.
for the command app.
But on the computer, no.
All right, signing in as agent,
Yep, are you on, yeah, exactly,
agent,
agent, yep, agent.kw.com.
password again.
Yeah, that should be your command.
Oh, okay, so,
password.
okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
That, KW might make like this one. I showed it to Jules one time, like, so.
Interesting, is that the command app?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the phone, yeah.
What did Joel say?
I
Okay,
didn't see
let
what I about this.
me look into that.
But when I get set look out
Uh-huh,
and close everything and try to go again,
uh-huh,
Opens.
oh, it does,
it
okay.
opens, but
Oh, okay.
I would, then my guess would be that's a new security update,
Yes.
so adjusting it probably on the command app.
it said login error.
Gotcha, and then you have to reload it.
Yeah.
I would imagine with the next update of the app, it'll fix that bug then. Alright, guys, so from command. Alright, we're gonna go through the workflow of what you would do when you start a new transaction. So first, if you'll join me, yeah, no, you're good. Oh, it died?
My tablet is, my kids buying me a new tablet.
Good,
I
that's,
told them, I said, hey,
Great
this, you know what? I just had, I had to update my phone
uh-huh,
and it went to system 18. I'm tapped out here with 15,
I see,
so I'm
my
assuming
computer's
that,
doing
yeah.
that too, yeah.
So, go ahead, I'll catch up.
Alright, so on the left hand side, guys, right, this is gonna be your command menu. Honestly, the best way you can go about learning commands is get on the computer, put your feet up and go down this list, click on each section, see what it does, see what you have access to. Now, today's class, we're talking about transactions, right, getting into DocuSign. Now, DocuSign works closely with the opportunities section of KW Command, so the handshake icon indicating your transactions, right? So to give you an idea, if you click on opportunities, you'll see your pipelines here. So your listing, buyer, and if you do any leases, you do have that option here. Now, what this does, it will help you keep track of your transactions all the way from the beginning of the relationship, that's a cultivate stage, to the appointment, active, under contract, and close. And today I'm specifically showing you about how to access your forms, send for electronic signature. But this in itself, it's another class, but it's a really great tool because you can add checklists for yourself. So you can keep on track of, okay, what have I done for each transaction and where are they on the pipeline and what action items do I need to do to pull them down the pipeline, okay? So in general, what your takeaway should be is this opportunities section here, that's gonna show your pipeline of any leads, right? Any opportunities for a sale. So whereas you have all of your contacts in the contact section of command, everyone you know, your whole sphere, so you can create systems. The opportunity section, you would come in here and click create opportunity anytime that you have exactly that, an opportunity for a buy or a sale. So if you have a meaningful conversation with someone about real estate, let's say they're like, hey, I'm looking to buy in the next year, sell in the next year, 6 months, whatever it is, okay, if you talk to 10 people like that, in a month, in a week, whatever it might be, it becomes hard to keep track of where everyone is in your timeline, in their timeline and in your pipeline. So that's the opportunities tool, what it does for you, and it also gives you access to DocuSign. So I want you to just more know that this exists, because what we're gonna do is I'll take you through it, it'll make a lot more sense as we go through it. But from the opportunities tab, let's click on create opportunity on the top right. So when we do that, there's really just 3 fields we have to fill out. I know this looks a little overwhelming, but the first field you have to fill out is the opportunity type. So that's just saying which pipeline are we putting this on? Is this a listing or a buyer essentially? You can do either one if you have a prospective buyer or listing, go ahead and select that option. I'll do a listing for today, but it's really functions the same. I'll point out the differences. The second field you have to fill out is the client. So this is where if they are in your database already, you could start typing in their name and they'll pop up as an option in your database. If you don't already have them in there, no worries, you can click to add new contact. So if they're in your database already, you can simply click on their name and it'll associate this transaction with that contact. Please feel free to stop me if you guys have questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a referral,
Mhm.
let's say for someone on the state, what do you put it?
Good question. Yeah, if you're referring a buyer is a buyer, you're referring it.
So the person has a home that they want to sell, but it's not on the state.
I see, okay.
Realistic?
Yeah, in that case, I'll go ahead and select the listing and there should be a referral checklist in there. I'll double check for you as we go through.
Okay.
But you're exactly right. You can select buyer or listing based on what kind of referral it is, and then there's a different checklist that I'll show you. Alright, so the first 2 fields we filled out, listing or buyer essentially for the opportunity type, and then the client. If there's a co-seller, let's say there's a spouse on the transaction. Again, same concept, you can click to start typing in their name. If they're in your database, they'll pop up, or you can click to create a new contact. The third and final field you have to fill out to continue is so you can scroll down to the very bottom of this little box if you want to use this little scroll bar, or if you scroll down with your mouse in the middle of this box, it'll scroll, is commission rate. So that's talking about your side of the transaction. This is changeable, but I would just put it in 3% when you're starting these. You know, if they have you down to 2.5, you can always change this. So again, 3 things we had to fill out were opportunity type, the client, and the commission rate. And guys, you have to do this for every transaction to get paid.
So everything with the asterisk.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
Some of the fields are already pre-populated.
Yeah, exactly, like these ones here. But you're exactly right, anyone with that red star, but some of them are already filled in. So opportunity type, client name, and commission rate. And click create.
What is the opportunity phase?
Good question, that's deciding where you're putting it on the pipeline, so. If you're just growing the relationship, or if you already have an appointment with them, or if they're active, you can select one of those and just adjust where they are in your pipeline. But you can always change these things as well. And I'll click create. Okay, so far what we've done is created the quote unquote opportunity and command. So now what we need to do is attach the DocuSign room to it. Okay, so this is how we access DocuSign and link the 2 together. So from here, we'll click the Documents tab on the top white toolbar here. Okay, these next 2 steps are pretty important. So the Documents tab on the top white toolbar, then on the left-hand side, you'll see it says Pick Checklist Type. Okay, so by picking a checklist type, what this is going to do is give you all of the required forms that you need in order to get paid. So Ian, for example, that's when you would select the referral fee for that one. In general, for everyone else, right? And if this was a North Carolina listing / sale, oh, if you selected a buyer opportunity, by the way, these options will look different, right? Because it's tailored to a buyer. No worries, that's normal. So if you did select a buyer opportunity, you can select the North Carolina buyer checklist or whatever it says. I think sales checklist. For North Carolina, you can do like the listing checklist.
So
Okay, yeah, so you would do,
that would be
yeah,
fine.
that's fine, you can click pick checklist type, and that'll be
File
North
sale.
Carolina sale file, yeah, the one near the top, North Carolina sale file, sorry, I know you can't see it on my screen. But for a buyer, yeah, North Carolina sale file, exactly,
Everything pops up.
exactly. Yep, and so what that does is, so this, if you scroll down slightly, you'll see checklists appear, right here on the right hand side. On the left, I see 3 different checklists, and I'll come back to this because this is directly how you get paid, so this is important. So if it's a buyer, right, it says consultation, I believe, under contract and, yeah, closed, right? But same concept, anything that has this greenish DS next to it means that it's gonna pull into DocuSign automatically for you so that you can just start typing in the form and send to your client for electronic signatures. So you don't have to go looking for the required forms, they're gonna be there for you to send to your clients.
So it's already uploaded.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh.
yep, and we're gonna make sure you have access to your forms today. But now the key thing to do to now start in DocuSign is where it says start a transaction on the top right. We're gonna click on that and yours will probably go straight to DocuSign, so you don't have .loop, so I'll click on DocuSign, but you probably won't need to. You'll click start a transaction on the top right. Now, if you have a pop-up blocker on or something like that, it will. Okay, good, yeah, that looks good, that's good. It will block it, but there's a pop-up blocker, which wasn't there last time on your computer. Okay, great. Yeah, it's good. Let me know, that looks good, Kenny.
Is this room,
Yes, yep, that's it.
We went to DocuSign, right?
Yes, so that's gonna take you to DocuSign. And so specifically, when you are starting this transaction. So every time that you start the transaction in DocuSign, you will need to go from command first, like what we did. That's extremely important in order to have all of your forms automatically pull into DocuSign and to link the two together. Okay, so just to say that again, the workflow that we just did, right, starting the opportunity in command and clicking start a transaction, that's really important the first time that you go to start a transaction. After that, if you need to get to DocuSign just quickly, right, to DocuSign where we are here, you can always go to rooms.docusign.com. Okay, it's not docusign.com. I mean, you could get to your account like that, it's more difficult. So it's rooms.docusign.com, and I'll come back to this, but just so you guys understand, there is a separate real estate platform that you have access to. And I will give you more context on when you would do that. Okay, so you should all be looking at something similar to my screen, would you say that's?
Okay,
great.
is this a blocker due
No.
to change in membership? We cannot load your form?
You're right, so go ahead, and
Coaching.
click on the preferences, the green, yeah, blue link. Yeah, so to know that you have, yeah, that's good. To know if you have access to your forms, guys, go ahead and click on a form. To see if it'll open, if not, it'll look like Kenny's screen. And I'll help. Okay, so if you click on add provider right here. You want to click on that option. And then, so if you don't know your NERDS ID, most agents don't, it's a 9-digit number. You can
What
click
ID?
your NERDS ID, National Association of Realtors.
Oh,
Most agents
I don't have one
don't.
yet.
Okay, you haven't signed up with the
No, I haven't
National
signed up
Association.
yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so-
So you won't have access to your forms until
Gotcha.
after you do
Okay.
that, and then
Alright.
also sign on with the North Carolina Commission.
Gotcha.
And then once you do that,
Yeah.
we'll link up your forms.
Yeah, have you guys done that?
Can I? Say, you haven't
Give me access yet?
No,
Oh,
no.
the,
Oh.
yeah, you,
Once
it
you
looks
have
like
it,
you have
then
access to your
you'll
forms.
get
So
it.
you
Oh,
can ask
okay,
about the
gotcha.
inbox.
No, because
Yeah.
you see when I,
Oh, okay, that's, you know what, they called me yesterday.
All of this, I'm gonna check this.
Okay, yeah, they called me
We're going back
yesterday.
to your room.
It's due, I think January 1st, I just got the text the other day.
It's due January first,
Anything?
so you haven't paid or you
Yeah.
just.
No, I paid for some.
yeah.
And then it's due
your
again,
profile
yeah.
is-
It's a
Oh,
free return, so it
it's
takes you all the way up to
Yeah,
December.
no,
Ignore that,
Okay.
yeah,
But-
it's
but
what
what
we're
they do-
doing, right?
Yeah.
It looks like you have
Because
access to your
yeah.
forms, I'll just double
You
check.
pay for it in December.
If you wanna
everything
click on
you
like the listing agreement,
Pay in
that's,
December,
I'll just double check. 'cause
January
that's what
and
We'll do
for the
next.
last. this
Yeah,
year,
it took a
it's
lot
due
of time,
August.
yes. Last time was.
Oh, so you'll pay for December and
Oh,
January.
when that,
Yeah,
yeah, oh,
I
yeah.
lost all the, when I
In
did, we
December.
did it.
In December.
I
you
know,
know,
right,
Right, you're right, but if you're waiting for this.
I lost all my
December,
cash. with the-
You're gonna have to pay everything for the bill. for the-
Okay,
Something
so
happened.
instead of.
I see, oh,
December is what?
like the
5 days,
different
4
tabs
days.
at the top there.
So instead of paying it now,
And I was not able.
Gosh.
if I paid December
to get-
first.
It's
I'll
no
pay
problem,
for
Okay,
December.
good.
but I don't know why it's,
Yes.
it's
Okay, that's
Do you want me to catch you up?
I'm just putting somebody's name.
Okay, now, when
Again,
they
you
did
can
that,
put
that was
3
all
right
one day or did it take, was it a
Oh,
day?
yeah, commission rate, just do the 3, yeah.
I did it a while
If you
ago.
will have a
Okay.
co-seller, if not, you can just put
Uh,
3.
Canopy,
Yeah,
Yes.
I just did it last month.
okay, and
They finish it
So now you
every
have
each day,
documents right here.
same day, and the second day they
And
send
so
me the
now the
password.
important part is clicking the
Okay.
checklist type.
But I give you
And then
30
we're gonna
days
pick like the North
to
Carolina
finish two
listing
things,
slash
the
sale
canopy
checklist, yeah.
orientation.
So what that's
That's
gonna do
the
is
facet,
tell DocuSign to the
orientation.
forms that
Yeah,
you
You
want.
have to do,
Well, now
with
it's
this,
start a
it's
transaction.
watching 3 hours videos
watching 3
for
hours
each one.
for each one, 3 hours with video.
Yeah, because they give you
Now
30
the
days to
electronic
finish all
prompt
this
is
one. You
logged in.
finish it,
Yeah, it's.
your account will be blocked.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe-
no, not that.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't sign up.
No.
They just called me yesterday.
Clicking back.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, so I
I
got
gotta-
You can give them a call back
We
and
might
they
just need to
finish
click
everything for
here
you
now,
and
like
you make the
put X
payment
out of
online.
that tab.
and that'll
Go
give
back
you
to
your
it. Now try clicking go to
National Association of
transaction.
Realtors and
They
everything.
will
It
give, they
might
send you
have
separate
messed it
emails,
up
one for
connecting into
the
a different
realtors,
account,
one for
but
the
we
canopy.
You have to join them too, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
Just in- 'cause I
Yeah, you have to join the
sign
realtors
on this.
to get the
Gotcha,
canopy.
it should be your KW.
It's like all
email.
built in one.
Yeah, but
Oh, it's all in one payment?
yeah, but
Oh, okay.
the person who spoke to you, he will take from you 2 payments. One for the realtors and one for the
Okay,
canopy.
gotcha.
That's what they did for me.
Okay,
And then the beginning of the year is always more, by the way, just a heads up.
Yeah, they sent
oh, and
me,
then come January, we'll go.
From January, I think it's
665.
6, yeah, it's.
Okay.
that's for the realtors.
You don't pay
Like
the
one time.
$50, they charge you like a $50 for something.
Yeah,
else.
late fee, I think.
Yeah, 665,
Okay,
but canopy, it's each quarter, so I'm not paying.
Like 195.
is each quarter or is it one time?
Each quarter is
We
185.
don't want, we don't wanna hijack the train.
165 plus the
After the first time, it should be.
165 plus
I'm
the
just
30
gonna
for
go
the
to-
doc.
Super.
Yeah,
So
go to your
195.
KW email,
Every 3
yeah.
months.
What's
Maybe
the
jump
just
through
wait, he just went.
Yeah.
Okay, that would-
Plus the 600.
Gmail.
Plus the 600.
Yeah, but 600 only in January at the
Yeah,
beginning of the month.
So I must do something.
600 in
To
January.
pay all this one.
And then plus every 3 months, 195.
Okay.
So I paid the
Three,
last one.
395 to 600. So basically it costs about $1,300 a year.
Yeah.
$1,400 a year. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I have to make some.
Which will have all.
You don't mind putting in your
Yeah.
KW email.
Okay.
Alright guys,
All
so
right.
you can click on the listing agreement if you don't already have that open. I'm just gonna give you an idea of how you would send these forms for electronic signature. Just heads up, you can also print these forms out. If you have a client who does not like electronic signatures, or if you just wanna bring the listing agreement to explain it to them. Right, what that workflow looks like is you would click on the form in your DocuSign room to open it up, so you should be looking at what I'm looking at here. You'll see a lot of the information has auto-filled onto the form, so like the client's names come over from command, the brokerage name, etc. As you scroll down, you'll see filling out the form is pretty intuitive. It's as easy as clicking to select any radio dots. Click to select any date field. And click to start typing. So you can play around with the form if you would like to get a feel of what it's like to click and start typing. What is cool about it is it does autofill, the forms autofill back and forth. So for example, if I write the property address on this form, it will autofill into every other form I pull up in this room.
Oh, I have buyers, so.
Oh, buyer agency, that's all right. Same concept, you can scroll down and click
Are you on?
to start typing.
I'm going to. Oh, okay. Okay. So I have to sign, I have to join, and then I'll have access.
Yes,
to-
exactly.
okay.
You'll need to put in your nurse ID then. I can help you with that, or I have a video on how to do it
Okay.
as well. So whenever you get it, just let me know.
Gotcha. All right,
Yeah, so,
I think I made it.
nice, love it. Okay, so you can click on the listing agreement if you'd like to, just to get an idea, and that'll tell us if you have access to your forms as well. Okay, so let's click on that if you don't mind. Add provider. You have your, you've paid your national association.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I see,
both have-
both have
yeah,
it, I
yeah,
got
we
you.
haven't,
I see. So neither of you can access. it.
Yeah.
I see. So at this point in the process, right, we do not see the initial boxes display on the form, that's normal. They will automatically go on the form for you, though. Anywhere they need to sign, the system knows exactly where they need to sign and makes them do so accordingly. So your job at this point is going through and filling out the form, anywhere you would need to fill that form out. And your T group partner would be able to guide you if you have questions on what should go on the form. I would ask your coach or your T group partner, I think specifically, has that job for you guys.
Probably 3 pages, something.
Oh, the buyer agency. I would have to go back and double check, that would be surprising, but. So at this point, I can click save and close, so just so you guys know, there are document actions that you'll see on the top right. So where this little like paper icon on the top right, sorry, right here, looks like a dog-eared piece of paper. Right, that'll give you options for what to do with this specific form. So for example, if you did need to print it out, right, that would allow you to type in the form and then print it out, so you could bring it on your appointment and have them hand sign it in front of you. That's always an option. Okay, but of course, the purpose of DocuSign is that you can type in the form and send it for electronic signatures to expedite the process, and you don't have to drive to their house and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna come back to this, but just know in your head, creating an envelope, that's what DocuSign means by putting the forms and getting it digitally signed, sending it for digital signatures. So creating envelope. So if you would, instead though, let's click on save and close. So I'm gonna show you how to do that to multiple forms at once. I'll show you how to get those electronically signed by your clients. So again, you'll click save and close on the top right. And that will take you back to this DocuSign room. So the concept would be, I would go through and click to open each form that I would want to fill out and send. So let's say I want to send them the working with real estate agents and the exclusive right to sell or the exclusive right to buy, either one, right? So I would first click on the form to fill it out like you just saw, and then I save it. So now I can send for electronic signatures. Now notice when I click the check boxes on the top left of the form, this bulk action menu appears. So that's not there at all until I click a checkbox. I find that a little sneaky, so I just like to point that out. So for example, let's say I want to send the working with real estate agents and the exclusive right to sell or exclusive right to buy, right? I could go ahead and select the forms that I want to send. And again, this bulk action menu will pop up. That gives you the option A to print it out, so if you want to print it and bring it on your appointment, or this little pen icon is again that create envelope, okay? And that's indicating send for them to digitally sign. So I'll go ahead and again, click the check boxes on the top of whatever forms I would like to send for them to electronically sign. And then I can click this pen icon to quote unquote create envelope. Okay. So when you click create envelope, it pops up asking you who needs to sign so that it can automatically add that to the form for you. So since I'm doing a listing agreement, I need to sign as the agent and seller 1 and seller 2 will need to sign. And depending on what form you're sending, this might look a little different, but usually if you see listing agent, you'll select that. And then if you have seller 1 and seller 2, that applies, you would click both and click continue. At this point, it usually does take the system a solid 30 to 45 seconds to pull these over because it's pulling the contact information over from command for you, their name, their contact information for them to electronically sign, just so you can expect that. And now you're looking at, again, what the system calls an envelope. So to make sense of what an envelope is, I like to channel snail mail here. Okay, the first thing, if I was going to send this in the mail, I would, okay, grab an envelope and add the documents to it. There we go. Those documents are added in. Next, I would add the recipients. Okay, and I'll see those are automatically added. I can see, right, the role that each person has, listing agent, seller 1 and seller 2. I see the client's name and their email address, and I see what they're going to have them do, right? They need to sign. Now, the main thing to know here, okay, checking to make sure the email address came over, so I'll need to fill this in. But the main thing to know here is you see this 1, 2, and 3 on the left-hand side. Now you can absolutely send it like that. And if you do, what it will do is it will send it to the person marked as a 1 first. And then once this person does their job of needing to sign, then it will send it to person number 2.
Okay.
Then once they sign, it'll send it to person number 3. Now, that's totally fine. It really just would matter when you tell them, hey, I sent the form. If you tell them, hey, I just sent it to all of you and you sent it like this, well, no, you didn't, right? They won't get it all at once. Now, you absolutely can see where it says set signing order right here. If you uncheck that, it'll send it to all of them at once. So the times that this matters, okay, that you would want to pay attention to this is A, just how you're explaining it to them, right? But B, if you are doing a residential property disclosure, so a form that they need to fill out, right? You give them the residential property disclosure so they can fill out the age of the roof, the age of the HVAC, et cetera, et cetera. If that's the case, that's when we leave it checked. Okay, every time we want to leave that checked, if they're gonna fill it out, because what it'll do is it'll send it, let's say, to seller number 1 first to sign. And then seller number 2 will just be able to fill out, I'm sorry, let me say that one more time. What it'll do is it'll send it to seller number 1 so he can fill it out. He or she can fill it out and sign the form. And then it will send it to the spouse so they can just sign for what they filled out. Okay, the main takeaway, I know that was a lot. The main takeaway is when it's a residential property disclosure or a form they need to fill out, like I believe the mineral, oil, gas rights, they also would need to fill out. That's when it does matter that there's a 1, 2, and 3, because then it will allow spouse number 1 to fill out the form and sign, and spouse number 2 will just be able to sign for what spouse 1 did. And if your takeaway from that is, okay, when I have the residential property disclosure, I'm gonna go to the hub and see Leah, right? Cause I'll be there in the hub Tuesdays through Fridays, right? And I'll show you this, right? That can be your takeaway here as well, okay? So don't feel like you have to take away every part of what I'm saying. More flag yourself, okay, when I get residential property disclosure, I'm gonna ask my T group partner or come see Leah in the hub, okay? Do you have any questions about what I said there?
Yes.
Okay,
I was discussing with, two agent was complete, but this was for a buyer.
Okay.
And what they said is they put the agents as number 1.
I see, yes.
So
So they-
what's the difference in this? Because the agent would sign first and then send the documents over.
Yes.
Is that because it's a buyer versus a seller?
From what I've heard from other agents, and this is best for your T group, honestly, partner anyway, T group partner. But from what I've heard from agents is what they do is, yeah, they often put themselves first if it's a form they need to sign, like the listing or buyer agency, either way. So that they can sign it and check over that they did the form correctly, and then it goes to their clients. And you can see it automatically set it up like that for me, right? See how I just told it I need listing agent, so I 1, seller 2, so it does default on that anyway, right? That 1, 2, and 3. So if you just leave it how it is, that will happen automatically. Does that answer your question? Cool. And I know that's a little bit of a confusing part when you haven't really started working with DocuSign, but that will come in handy. So at the bottom, there is a spot for a message if you talked about something specific over the phone that you want to indicate. Otherwise, you can click on next on the bottom. Okay, and we're really on the home stretch at this point. We don't have to do anything further. This part is really just checking over the form and me explaining what to look for here. So first of all, what we're looking for is if you scroll down to the bottom of any of your pages now, you'll see the initial fields and signature fields have automatically displayed for you on the form. So you do not need to go through and drop initial and signature boxes on the form. You don't need to know where they go. Our broker in charge, Sabra and Tasha, they set this up for you to make sure that you're gonna get the signatures where you need them to be in compliance. So that's awesome in itself, right? So, for example, if you're looking at the bottom of your listing agreement, you can see the bottom of page 1. I want to point out the 3 different colors of these boxes here, the initial boxes. Those correlate to your clients. On the top left, you'll see a dot, right? Probably next to your name if it's a form you're signing, and you'll see which field correlates to that client in that color. So that's how you can quickly eye over the form to see, okay, they can initial where they need to. So I can see that on the bottom of each page. On the right-hand side, I can see these little tabs, right, on each one of the forms, again, indicating the different, you know, all 3 people would have to sign this one. The gray one is indicating there are fields to fill out on the form. But lastly, again, all we're really doing on this page is checking it over, so if you do wanna preview it on the top right, it would give you the option to preview it exactly how your client would be signing it. So you can click, let's say that you're viewing it as client number 1. And this will look exactly how it looks for them when they open it via email, they click start, and it'll show you exactly how, okay, it takes them down to the first field. I find this helpful to go through, of course, it's not signing for them, of course, at this point. But it would if they call you and have questions, well, you can see exactly what they would be seeing in what
What do you
order.
say?
Yeah.
when to
Oh,
do-
yeah, sorry, that is on the top right where it says preview.
Oh.
Yeah. And of course, not a necessary, like you don't have to do that step, I just like to sleep at night.
Mhm. Let's see, okay.
Alright, so at this point, all we would really need to do is, again, check over the form and click send. Oh, and yeah, if you click preview, you can X out of that on the top right, once you're satisfied.
I wanna do this. I mean, I wanna do one with my practice for me.
That's a great thing to do, that's why having it in there is really great, honestly. Okay, so I'm gonna click on send on the bottom right there. If you would like to, if it's really someone, you can always click on actions on the top right and save it as a draft. But what I need to explain to you at this point is what it looks like when signed forms come back to you and how you submit them to the office so that they can be, you can get paid.
Or I can stop.
Yeah, you can, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the envelopes tab. This whole time, we've done everything in the documents tab, right? That's where all of our documents are, where we're able to click to start typing. The envelopes tab is the other main tab that you spend time in your DocuSign room. And what this is showing you, and this is an important place that you'll come back to, is each time that you've sent one or a group of forms to be electronically sent. So through the course of a transaction, you'll have multiple envelopes because it indicates again, each time that you sent a group of forms. And it tells you the status, which is important. So signed forms do not come back to DocuSign until they're fully signed, and I'll expand on that, okay? But that means if, let's say, seller number 1 signs the form, but seller number 2 can't figure out how to open their email, that fully signed form is not gonna come back to DocuSign until all parties have signed. So being able to see where that is in the transaction, so you'll be able to see, okay, who has signed. Now, I put a different email address in, but typically as the agent, you're able to sign right here, okay? So if you click on any of your envelopes, you can sign right from there. Or it will send you an email to sign. So when you're signing as the agent, again, so from this envelopes tab, you'll always be able to sign it from the envelope, right from here. Okay, you'll usually see it says sign now. And then you'll also be able to see, let's say seller 1, it says sign, but seller 2 still needs to sign and they can't find it. Okay, this is the other big thing you might need. You'll see it has the option to resend up here. And that will only resend it to the people who have not already signed, which is helpful. Yes, and you can correct the form from here as well. Record it, things like that. Okay, and I can help you guys with this ongoing. I'm just trying to fill you in on the main things you would need to know at this point. Okay, so I'm gonna X out of this. And again, guys, I know this is a lot of information. That's why we have this recorded. That's why you can come to this class once a month. I'm in the hub, right? So don't feel like you're on your own after this or anything. I'm here to help you guys.
Where's the
Hub? Oh, that's the high top. area.
Where the food was.
So that's on the hub?
Yeah.
What's the food?
And yeah, we're there Tuesday through Friday from 12 to 12:30 for any tech questions you have. Especially DocuSign is generally time sensitive, so that's why we're available. And then support at scotlandmarketing.com, they're available around the clock for quick answers, especially if you get an error and you're like, what? You know, they'll be able to fix it. Okay, so now let me explain the sign form situation and how we get paid with our sign forms. So should just take me about 10 more minutes to show you guys this, but this is important for when you want to get paid. Okay, so I'm gonna show you.
When we wanna get paid.
Yeah, when you wanna get paid, I think that's why you're doing this thing, right? Okay, so I'm switching to a different room that I have signed forms in to show you the difference. So you'll notice so I'm in the documents tab of my DocuSign room, and you'll probably see only forms that have this blue forms icon, right? So that blue form icon indicates that if you click on the form, you can just start typing it in. So it's an interactive form. If you need more of these, right, it adds the required one, but let's say it's built before 78 and you need to go get a lead-based paint form or whatever the case may be. There are additional forms that you'll be able to grab by clicking add on the top right, that blue button. And you'll see that same icon, that same blue form icon right here under DocuSign forms. So that's where you can click to access all of your different forms. So you have the option there's little packets on the left-hand side that Sabra and Tasha would have broken these down into. So all your North Carolina listing forms, all your sales file. Or you can see your full libraries on the left-hand side. And again, this is what you'll get when you have your membership all to date with NAR. So at this point, I would be able to click on any forms that I need to add and just click add selected. There's a search bar here as well. So that's how you would add more forms as far as these interactive forms, okay? So now the difference is, so see how I also have these forms with the green signed icon. So when it comes back signed, so when all parties have signed, it will come back as a totally separate copy of the form. So you'll see this is my exclusive right to sell, right? The original copy, the one that I can just start typing in. However, once it gets signed by all parties, it comes back as a totally separate copy of the exclusive right to sell. Signed by all parties, it converts it to a PDF so the signatures can't be erased, okay? So for example, one more thing to know on the signed forms, each time that, let's say you have seller number 1 signs, you'll get an email letting you know that seller 1 signed with a copy of the form just signed by that seller. But you will not see the fully signed copy like this come back to DocuSign until all parties have signed. But you will get email updates as the agent.
So when they're signed is when you can upload it to get paid.
Exactly. Sorry, I got excited there. So that's exactly the key. Now this leads us to the final step, and that is turning your forms in for compliance. And so when they come back signed, so whether you got it hand signed or it comes back signed like this in DocuSign, this will be the last and final step so that you can get paid. So now this is where the opportunities tab works together with DocuSign. Okay, when I was first learning this, I was really confused because you're telling me there's a documents tab of the opportunities, but there's also a documents tab of DocuSign. What, Okay, so this is the separation, how they work together. So the documents tab in DocuSign, okay, DocuSign is used between you as the agent and your clients to get your form signed. Okay, so you access all your blank forms in DocuSign. Again, DocuSign used between the agent and your clients to get your form signed. Where the command opportunity comes in, right, it's where we started. This documents tab is used between you as the agent and the office to submit your signed paperwork so that they'll give you your commission check, okay? I'm gonna draw that out a little more, but again, documents tab of command is used between you as the agent and the office to get submit your signed paperwork to get your commission check. So this is the final step. So once you get the signed forms, okay? Now, if you're representing a listing, okay, I'll explain it for a buyer as well. You would come in here and add all of the executed forms for your listing within 3 days of it going live in the MLS. Okay, that's per Sabra and Tasha. So within 3 days of going live in the MLS, right, for your listing, we would come in here and add in your forms that are signed by your seller, right? So this is where I would come in to where it says listed. Okay, right now it's gonna pull from DocuSign, because that's how I have it, set up. So ideally, right, since I have that signed copy back in DocuSign, when I click on select right here, it will only show me forms that have come back fully signed, okay? I know this is a practice one, so you can't see that, but essentially it's just a list. It'll say working with real estate agents, exclusive right to sell, but it'll only show you the signed copies from this list. And that's if you got it signed in DocuSign, okay? Now, if not, if you got it signed, let's say by hand, right? And I can give you more info on this, but you scanned it to your computer, right? And you have it, exactly. This is where you can drag and drop that signed copy, or you can click and it'll browse your computer. Exactly. So we're adding in the signed documents again for the listing, and same for buyer, it should say consultation under contract, then we would do it again within 3 days of going under contract. We submit all the fully executed paperwork here, okay? So when we look for the requirement right here, so you'll see some say required, some say conditional. Conditional meaning, again, like if it was lead-based paint, well, if it was built before 78, then you need the lead-based paint. If there's a DDF, well, then you need that disclosure. But the required ones, you always need to get paid. So usually the first thing I do is click on the requirement field at the top, and it will sort them all by the required ones at the top. And again, your takeaway at this point can be, okay, when I need to do this, I'm gonna go to the hub and have Leah help me do that, okay? That's absolutely a great option, yeah. I used to do compliance for the office, so I know what they want, just come see me at that point, okay? And I'll help you with it, that can be your takeaway, but you just need to know at this point, this needs to be done to get paid. If you hire a transaction coordinator, this is also what they do for you, so that's often a good option too, cause I mean, on average, a TC is around $300 to $400, and you don't pay until after you close, and they handle all your paperwork and allow it to go smoothly. Some agents, you could ask your coach's recommendation, will recommend that you go through the transaction by yourself at least one time, so you're familiar what to look over for the TC.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. I think PJ said, each member of his team have to go through this, and then they could come it off.
Right.
Just in case that person or further, those person is not available,
That's a good point, and it is ultimately your responsibility, right,
Right.
to overlook that entire process. Now, of course, I find the TC leverage helpful because they know what they're doing, and perhaps at the beginning of real estate, you don't as much. With that being said, though, just another option I've heard agents do is you get a listing, they'll co-list with their coach, right? So whereas usually coaching is like once a week, if you co-list with, or your sponsor, whoever it might be, then you're splitting it, you can talk about that, but then they help you with everything, like. For example, my mom does this with some of her coaching clients, and of course, the coaches have a higher conversion rate. So it usually like guarantees you get the listing, right? And helps you learn along the way. Now, I'm just throwing out, that's what I would do if I were doing it, and then you have the guidance, you're able to see, what a TC would need to do then for your next transaction. Of course, you guys have lots of fees going in and out at this point, so just trying to throw some options at you guys.
Lots of fees.
Yeah. But anyway, so just one more time to tell you when you would submit for compliance review, because you'll see it says submit to MC right here. So when you have your signed documents added in here, you'll submit for a listing 3 different times throughout your transaction. Okay, once when you go live on the MLS in 3 days, ideally. Once when you go under contract, within 3 days of going under contract, and then when you close. If you try to submit them all for review at closing, they'll hold your commission check just because they are doing compliant. So the reason you're turning it in is then we have Carla who goes through all your forms and makes sure, did you get everything signed? Did you fill it out correctly? To keep you guys out of real estate jail, right? It's that extra check that you'll always have, but that takes a little bit of time to go through all your forms. So if it's the buyer, just the last thing, I know you're getting a lot of info here. If you're representing the buyer, you would only need to submit to the Market Center for review twice. That's once when you go under contract and once when you close. Again, your takeaway could be, come see me in the hub and I'll literally help you put your forms in here
So this
and
one,
submit
as
for
soon
review.
as you get the under contract back and forth,
Yep,
it's already,
once it's fully executed, yes. They only need the fully executed documents in
Okay.
here.
and the close as soon as
Yeah, as soon
they
as
got
so.
signed, whatever.
Yep, how it works for closing is what they'll typically sign the CD, right, and so you can upload that into here, but then it varies, right, but in general, the attorney would send the check to Lynn Davis, that's who does our accounting. And then she disperses your check.
So
for you.
that they close the attorney.
Exactly, right, when you close, I mean, the quicker the better for you to get paid. Just the last thing, see where it says offers and commissions right here? When I said that Lynn disperses your check, this is what we do when we go under contract to essentially tell her how to split up your check, like if you're paying an outside referral. Your takeaway from this should be, okay, when I go under contract, I'm either gonna watch the video on KWB resources, or I'm gonna go find Leah. So again, takeaway is you do need to fill out this tab when you go under contract. But where you find that how-to, it is on the DocuSign notes for today's class. It's actually the contract, this one.
Right.
I'll highlight it too, so that you guys know which one. It's on the home page of KWB resources, just right here. How to get paid, this one. So again, you do that anytime you go under contract to tell her how to split up your check, that's for a listing or a buyer. Yeah, either watch the video or come find me and I'll help you with it. Are you guys good on how to find me? You want me to go over?
Yes, and we asked. She knows about everybody.
Yeah, so right, you can book once a week with us, it's free, the market center pays for it, any tech help, and so we have you tomorrow, right? Yep, and we can help you, right, we tell you exactly what to learn, you know, there's a lot to learn, we'll tell you, okay, where are you in your business, let's learn this first, then we'll implement this next week, right, we'll guide you on what to do. It can be marketing or tech related, whichever you need us for.
This.
I got
Sorry.
With that, right?
Yes, all done, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, it was great.
Yeah, of
Thanks, I
course,
appreciate it.
and as you get your